Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily. We got that WXY, X2 and the Z down. We had that bear hidden here, so we were looking for that Z down. It did go and break that low. Looking at price action at the moment, though, we got this A. This is looking corrective. So we may get an A, B, C in here. Another one up here for a flat before we get an A, B, C. So I'm sort of looking at this structure here now. After this wave Z down, it started to correct in here. So yeah. On the H4, nothing really on the H4. It's looking corrective. We've got some sort of an A, B, C up here. Just about hit that 100 fib, fell over. So you may get a sell on it. It's a risky sell. You're selling at the bottom of the market. But you may get a sell in here if you get a you'd really want to break below that low correction, and then you could look for the sell. AU on the daily. So we're looking at this A and then an A, B, C. Last week I was thinking this may have been over and that was the end of the wave B, but as price actions come straight back up again. So the structure hasn't changed. We're still in this B wave, and then we'll get a C down, and then we get the A, B, C before we more likely get an A, B, C. H4, there's really nothing. You can't really sell it or buy it. We have a bear hidden here. So if you're buying, you have to be very careful. Ideally, you'd want to wait until this breaks that top, and then look for a buy. For the sell, if we go down to the H1, we're getting bearish divergence here, so you'd have to go down onto the lower time frames, wait for an impulse down, a correction or a flag, and then you could look for the sell. And for the buy, like I said, you'd really need a break above that top and then give you a nice buy setup, and I'd want to be pretty nice because we're in a B wave on the daily. Looking at EU on the daily, nothing's changed. I'm looking for that A. This is a B wave. We get that C down to finish off this B wave as a running or expanding flat, and then we get that A, B, C. So I'm really only looking for downside. As you can see on the H4, we're getting all this bearish divergence. As I definitely wouldn't be buying this, but it's not giving us a sell either. So it's, this may be some sort of a flat here, A, B, C, and then you get an A, B, C before we get an A, B, C. So the upside may not be over, but it's risky to buy when we have all this bearish divergence. On the H1, there really isn't nothing. It's not giving any setups. If anything, you'd have to look for a buy. And then even that's risky because there's a bear hidden on this one as well. If you got a little flag in here, you could look for the buy just to go and break the tops. It's risky, but you could look for a scalp. I'm more interested in wherever the top ends, a nice impulse down, nice correction, and I'll be looking for the sell. GU on the daily. Now, this one here, I'm still looking at it as a possible triangle A, B, C, D, and we get this E down, and then we get that A, B, C. It still hasn't fallen over yet. So if I just remove that one. So there's really not much, on the H4. We got all that bullet bearish divergence. So again, very risky to be buying. Me personally, I'll be waiting for a nice impulse down, correction or flag, and then look for that sell as an expanding triangle. And then if we get the buy down here, in a few weeks' time, we could look for that buy. H1 again, there's really nothing. There's nothing to buy or sell at this stage. Looking at NU, like I said last week, this was quite difficult because this wave here didn't go and break that low. I was looking for an A, B, C down to break that low there, and then we get an A, B, C. Instead, it's like AU. We're still in this this B wave here, and then I suspect we'd get an A, a B, a C, and then we get the A, B, C. So we're still in a B wave. Unfortunately, this wave down in here didn't go and break that low. So, or else it would have been nice to buy if that had happened, but it hadn't. At this stage, you can really only buy as well. There is this possible A, B, C here as an expanding flat, and then we get that A, B, C. Last week, that's pretty much what I was looking at, this A, a B, and a C as a running or expanding flat. It's turned into an expanding flat. But yeah, I'd be staying out of it for a little while. I mean, you could go down onto the lower time frames. If I just go down to the H1, you'd really want a nice correction in here. You'd want a H1 correction, and if you got a H1 correction and then a nice little buy set up on the lower time frames, you could give it a go to go and break that top. It's more of a scalp, and at this stage there is no sell set up on it. But for the sell, you'd be looking for a nice impulse down on the lower time frames, correction, a flag, and then look for the sell. There's really nothing on it at this stage, buy or sell. GY on the daily, so this one has gone and broken the top. I was looking for a WXY, X2 and a Z down. Then it started to turn into a larger correction, and this was the invalidation point last week, and it did break above that last week. And now it's gone up and broken the top. So now we do have like an A, a B, and a C. It was looking very choppy, extremely corrective. That's why I wasn't looking for the buy. We got that WXY deep correction, X2 and a Z up. It's kept on going up. There may be a bull hidden in here for more upside as well. No, there's not. There's not, and there's really not a sell set up on it either. I dare say, I mean, it's very risky, but if you got a bullish flag on the lower time frames, you could look for it just to go and break that top. Then I dare say we'll be getting that bearish divergence, and then I'd be looking for a nice impulse down, correction, a flag, and then selling. Yeah. UY on the daily. So nothing's really changed on the UI. We got that A. Looking at this as a B, and then we get a C down in here for an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C. There's some sort of a running or expanding or just a regular flat. We don't know at this stage. But if we have a look on the H4, yeah, I dare say we'll get one more up in here. We got a bull hidden here. So if I go down onto the lower time frames, we may get a setup on this. It's the same on the H1. We got that bullish hidden. So, you're getting a little flag in here. You could look for the buy just to go and break that top. It's only really a scalp. And then, you'd be looking for a nice impulse down and a sell setup for that larger C down on the daily before you'd be looking for the buy again. This one here, this come up here, and then you'd be looking for that one down, this one down here for the A, B, C. And then you'd be looking for the buy for the A, B, C. UCAD on the daily. This one, I was sort of expecting this one to go up more. I was looking for that A, W, X, Y, X2. We had that bull hidden here, so I was looking for that to go and break the top. It started to go nicely, and it started to correct nicely as well, but then all of a sudden it just fell over. So the problem is here, you can really only buy this until that low gets broken. We got this nice impulse up, and then we sort of get a W, X, Y, probably an X2 and a Z down in here, and then another one up in here for a flat. I dare say that's what we'll get looking at the price action. You could sell, if you got a nice correction similar size to this here, you could look for the sell only as a scalp just to break that low. And then you'd be looking for any buy setup on the lower time frames to buy that up. And then possibly, if you got a sell setup, you could look for more downside as an A, B, C, or this one just keeps on going for you. But yeah, it's not playing the game. It's not playing nicely. It's a very deep correction, back to the 90 fib. So actually it's back to the 78.6 fib. So it's extremely deep. So we get a WXY. If you got a nice X2 similar size to this, you could look for the Z down, and then you'd be looking for that buy. The Swissy on the daily. I've got stuff on here. Just get rid of all this from during the week. So on the daily, we got that A, B, C. There still is room down. We haven't got to that 100 fib yet. It is getting very close to it, and we're getting all that bullish divergence. So I'm only looking for buys. Here we had a flat. We got that A, B, C. We're looking for that one down to go and break the low. It's done that now. We got all that bullish divergence. On the H1, it's really on the lower time frames. It's really on the lower time frames, the buy that was on it. I did get into a buy around here somewhere for a WXY. We may get a bull hidden here on the lower time frames and get a Z up, just breaking that top. But at this stage, it's risky to buy. Ideally, really would like this to go up and break that top and then give you a H1 correction or flag, and then you could look for the buy. EG on the daily. Sorry about that. So this one's become very extremely choppy. But last week we were looking for this to come down as an A, B, C in here on the lower time frames. Looking at the daily though, we got that A, B, C here as an expanding flat, and then we get that A, B, C. The problem was, you know, we were getting this looking very corrective for more upside. It was only last week that we will see that we can get more downside in here. We're getting that wave Z down, so if anyone got on that, well, that's good. It's now broken the low. If you went down onto the lower time frame, if I just go down to the H1, we're starting to get bullish divergence on the H1 as well. So it's very risky to be trading if you get a correction in here. You could look for it. It'd be risky though, for the like WXY X2Z down. I'd be more interested in wherever this finishes, because there's not. You'd have to go down onto the lower time frames to get a trade on this, because I dare say this and this, it may be down to the 100 fib and it may bounce off that 100 fib and give you a buy. So yeah. WTI. So this one has completed. We got that like WXY. Then I'm looking at an A, a B, a C as that running flat, and this wave down here in here has broken that low, which is good. So this may be a complete structure. I'm actually on this one as well, from Friday, but so we do have bullish divergence on the H4. We do have bullish divergence, and you know this is the low here. It did go and break that low. You really have to go down onto the lower time frames. I mean, in this here, I only go down to the H1. If you want to learn exactly how I trade, well, you'll have to join the group. But really, we're getting a bear hidden in here, you know, so you have to be extremely careful. I believe even on the M15 there is bearish divergence in between this one and this one. So we do have that possible bear hidden, so you will have to be careful with the buying now. It was more, if I just go down onto the lower time frames, you know, you really had to get in on this one here, this correction here, to buy that, because actually we've actually lost the bearish divergence now, which is good. When I seen it last night before I went to sleep, we did have bearish divergence in there, but we've lost it now, so that's okay. So we get a WXY. You wait for the X2 and you could trade that Z up, and then you'd be looking for a nice impulse down and a correction to go and break the low again, because we have that possible bear hidden. Gold on the daily, this has actually broken the top now. So if I just show you, this is a idea I put out. When did I put this out? I put it out a couple of years ago. Yeah, July 28th, 2020, I put this idea out. So back then I was looking for that correction and the Z up, so a WXY X2 Z up. This is a weekly chart. So I was looking for a correction for a couple of years here. And if we just press play, we'll see what happened. I mean, you know, we got the correction as an A, B, C, like I've shown in the weekly outlooks, and then we get that we got that Z up now. So I mean, I'm looking for it to get up to the 123.6 and the 161.8. This wave here may not be over, but I'm showing you this. You know, the time factor here, not so much the arrow, but the time factor, was pretty much spot on. Very similar size correction as this one here in time. And then we got that nice impulse up. So I just wanted to show you that, how we can identify how long a correction is going to take, and then, you know, give us that wave Z up in this case. So we have broken that top, which is great. You know, I am looking for it to possibly get up to this 123.6 and the 161.8. On the daily here, we've got this sharp move down in here, which is making it quite difficult. We do have bearish divergence, I believe. Yeah, so we already have bearish divergence, so it gets risky to be buying up the top here. You know, we're right at the top of the market. You know, it's broken the high. So if we go down onto the lower time frames, we'll check it out. You know, we were looking for that A, B, C. We got that, and it has gone and broken the top. So we got that like A, B, C here, and we have all that bearish divergence. So there's no way I'd be buying. I'd be looking for a nice impulse down, breaking this low, giving us a nice correction or flag, and then you could definitely look for that sell. You know, even though they're on the weekly, there may be still more upside. But I dare say, even if it's going to get up to this 123.6, it'll correct before it gets there. So we really need a correction on the lower time frames, to a larger correction, so we can, you know, before you can buy it. On the H1, you know, like I said on the H4, we really want a price to come down and break that low, because on the H1 we have that possible bull hidden. So I don't really want to go on to the lower time frames, or else this will, you know, weekly outlook will take too long. But it looks like we've got a WXY, we'll get an X2, a Z down on the M15, and we have a bull hidden here. So then if you got a bullish setup, you could scalp it just to go and break that top. You know, you want to take half off at the top here, and just let the rest run, because it may keep on going up to those W1 targets. Looking at silver on the daily. So this one here, we've lost the bearish divergence. So we had a very deep, well, we got that like WXY, X2, we had that bull hidden, so we were looking for this to go and break the top. The problem was, when we got this one up, we lost all that bearish divergence. So since then, I'm just looking for a correction in here before more upside. On the H4, this has just gone and broken the top again. So this top's been broken over here. So I dare say this is some sort of a flat here as an A, B. Get one down in here. It's extremely choppy, and you're buying right at the top of the market. Ideally, you'd really want like a WXY, X2 and a Z down, or some sort of a flat in the middle as an A, B, C. Give you some risk reward down to the 50 fib before you look for the buy. But yeah, it may be giving a bull hidden or something here on the H1. No, there's really not much on the H1 at this stage at all. Yeah, I'd be leaving it alone for a little while. You know, this could be some sort of an A, B, C here as a flat, and then you get like an A, B, C. But even if we get a higher high here, we'll start to get that bearish divergence. So really, I'm more interested in a sell to get that larger correction down. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily, so nothing's really changed. We've got that A, B, C, and then we get that A, B, C. I'm still looking at it as an expanding flat. And we'll come down and at least go and break that low. We are getting bearish divergence here. We're getting bearish divergence so on the daily, so it does start to get tricky to buy. On the H4, we had that bearish divergence as well last week. So we're only looking for a sell. We got that nice impulse down. Some sort of a flat in here. We got some sort of an A, B, C here. Then you get an A, B, C. So I'd be looking for the downside. It was quite choppy. As you can see, we've got an A, B, C here, and then you get that A, B, C. You can see how choppy this is looking here. So this may turn into a nice sell setup. You may get a nice sell in here. What you'd be looking for, you'd be down on the lower time frames. You'd be waiting for an impulse down and a correction or flag to sell. S&P 500 on the daily. So nothing's changed on the daily. We got that A, B, and we're looking for that C up to that 50 fib as the first target. The second target is that 161.8. We did get the wave Z up here. We got that WXY X2. We got the Z up. Didn't quite get to that 123.6, the first target. It looks like we may have a bull hidden here, have we? Yeah, we got a bull hidden here. Or did that go and break the low? Oh no, it broke the low. So we would have been only looking for sells last week, I dare say, because after this wave here that went and broke that low, you can really only look for sells. It looks like you probably wouldn't have got a sell on it because as soon as it's broken the low, it's shot straight up. So I dare say on the lower time frames, it's a buy. I can't go down to those time frames. Like I said, if you want to see exactly how I trade, you will have to join the group. But I dare say on the lower time frames, you could look for a buy. Because I dare say you got bullish divergence between there and then you got that high, so you could look for a buy in here just as a scalp. Other than that, there's really not much on it. AU 200 on the daily. So we're looking for that A, B, C. So we're looking for that 100 fib on the daily. Is it giving us a setup? I think last week we were looking for a buy in there. Now it's giving, you'll have to be careful because if we go down on, I mean, we got that nice impulse up. We're waiting for a correction and then you can look for the buy. We're getting a correction, but this may have a bear hidden on it, I dare say. Yeah, this has got a bear hidden on it. So you have to be very careful. We got that bear hidden here. So this may give you a sell setup and you could sell it to go and break that low. And as soon as that low is broken, well, then you'd be looking for any buy setup. Trying to get up to that, targeting that daily 100 fib on the daily. Looking at the FTSE on the daily. Yeah, so nothing's really changed on the daily. You know, we're looking at that A, B, C, A, B, C, and we got this one up. All it had to do is break that top. This may be still looking bullish. Yeah, I think last week we were looking for the buy setup, and nothing's really changed there. It's very similar to the AU 200. I think last week we got that WXY, wait for your X2 back to that 38.2, and then you can look for the buy. So it's bounced, price actions bounced off this 38.2, so you could look for the buy. Is there a setup on it? There's not at this stage. That's the problem. You'd have to go down to the lower time frames, because we got a bear hidden here, a possible bear hidden. So yeah, it's the same as AU 200. You know, if you got impulse down, you could look for a sell. I mean, you really have to know what you're doing. You'd have to join the group to actually learn how to trade this, to trade these bear hiddens and these hidden divergences and all that. Me just saying it on these weekly outlooks, yeah, you probably get yourself into trouble if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, that's all I can really do. You know, if you get a sell set up in here, you could look for the bear hidden and go and break that low. Unless you got the bullish divergence, the bullish setup, you could look for the buy. But yeah, it does have a possible bear hidden there. So if you are looking for the buy, you have to be extremely careful. You may just get a correction in here, another one up in here, just breaking that top, and then it comes down and breaks the low for that bear hidden. So yeah, if you want to learn how to trade all these different structures and that, I don't believe there's a better course out there, a more comprehensive course than what I teach, and I'm selling it at a very low price. You know, $1,500. You could pretty much make that on your first trade, if you got a large enough account, of course. But here we go on the DAX. We got that A, B, C as an expanding flat. I still have to look at this as the C up, you know, and then we get that A, B, C. So really, we're getting all this bearish divergence, very risky to buy, you know, extremely risky to buy up here. I think last week we were looking for the, you know, a scalp. You know, you could have looked for that. It's become more complex. You know, it tried to go and then come back, broke the low. Now there's really not. I'd be leaving it alone. I really would, especially up at these highs. With all this bearish divergence, it's virtually silver side to even like look for the buys. I'd be waiting for whatever happens in here. Wait until it ends. Then you get a nice impulse down, and I'd be looking for the sell, for that larger sell on the daily. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe, all that good stuff, and then enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.